Hey everybody! So today we're going to go over color theory, some basic notes. You have a worksheet either exactly like this or very similar to it, and today you're going to be filling it in. Now you can use whatever material you particularly want to use. My suggestions would be anything that blends well, i.e. like colored pencils or chalk pastel, oil pastels. Anything that blends well will work fine, but the colors that you're going to need today are red, yellow, and blue. And if you're like me and you're using colored pencils, you might also choose to grab a colorless blender just to make everything look nice and pretty. If you're using chalk pastels, you might want to grab one of the blending stumps, things like that. All right, so color theory. Color is an element of art. It is one of our basic art building blocks. Every time you use colors, you are creating a color scheme. Color schemes are collections of colors that look good together. You can pick whatever colors you want to use. That doesn't mean they look nice together, at least not according to our eyeballs. This in particular right here is called a color wheel. Sometimes you'll see it with these inside parts. Sometimes you will only see this outside ring. The color wheel in its most basic form are these 12 colors in this order. And the most common color schemes are listed down here at the bottom of the sheet. So today, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be looking at all of these and some of their definitions, these bits, and also filling in with color. So I am a person that always likes to start with red just because I like to start with red. And right in here in the middle, you have R for red, Y for yellow, B for blue. And these are your primary colors. That's this one right down here, primary. This R for red is one that I'm going to come in here and start coloring very nice and even. I want this to look nice. I want to have all the way up to my edges, and I want it to look good. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to fill in all of my red sections, and you will see come back in a minute. All right, so this was labeled red. This was also labeled red. Next, I'm going to come in with blue. If you are using colored pencil like me, I do suggest you grab the light blue. If you grab the dark blue, sometimes some of these areas in this section right here for violets will get muddy. So I'm going to come back with all my blue areas colored in and my yellow areas colored in. So check back in a second. All right, so these are our primary colors, red, yellow, and blue. They can be used to mix pretty much any other color that is directly on this color wheel. Do be aware that that does not include colors like black and white and brown, which are our neutrals. They exist off of the color wheel. So anyway, our primary colors can be used to mix pretty much any color in our system. Here is primary. Now we're going to be using these same colors still. Do not grab different colors to start making our secondaries and our tertiaries and all of that. You will just be using these, which is why the next section is so very important. So we're going to start mixing our secondary colors. As you can see right here, our O stands for orange. It is straddling red and yellow. It is because red and yellow are the two colors that we're going to use to mix it. Here's what you got to remember, because a lot of kids do this wrong. Wimpy, wimpy, wimpy. Hefty, hefty, hefty. This yellow, any light color, is almost always going to be much, much weaker than the darker color that you're mixing with. So to make a nice, even Crayola orange, you're going to need a little bit more yellow than you need red. So add the red a little bit at a time. It is much likelier that you're going to end up with a red orange than a regular orange if you add too much of the red. So I'm going to start with some yellow. I'm going to stick it down right here. I'm going to add a little bit of red on top. Note that I am going very, very lightly with this. If you don't trust yourself to go lightly when you're holding the pencil like so, move to the back of your pencil because that gives you a lot less leverage to press hard. And it can make it easier to press lightly if you're having that problem. All right, so I've got a little layer of that red there. Now I'm going to grab my colorless blender, clean it off a little bit, and I'm going to use my colorless blender, or I could use yellow again, to come back on top and start mixing these together. Now mine came out just a bit more pale than I needed, which means I need to add a little bit more red. That is a-okay. I'm going to come in and I'm going to add just a smidgen of red to make a nice candy orange. And I'm going to make the same thing here. And I'm going to do this exact same thing with green, only I'm going to be using yellow and blue. And I'll come back for violet. All right, last section is violet. Here I have my red and my blue. Remember, these are both darker colors, I should say. And because of that, they're about the same equal strength. So I don't need more of one or the other. They're going to be about even. This is where using a dark blue can sometimes give your violet some muddiness. I find that at least in these Prismas, using a light blue and the crimson red will work best for you. So I'm going to come in here, and these are going to be a little bit more evenly distributed. So I'm going to come in. I'm still not pressing very hard because I don't want to hurt my hand. I've got a good layer of red. I'm going to come in on top and put in a good layer of the blue. This is not going to be the prettiest violet you've ever seen in your life, just warning you ahead of time. And then I'm going to take my colorless blender. I'm going to blend on top. And I can see already that whenever I first blend this out, it leans a little bit more towards red than blue. So I need to come in and add some more blue on top. And this is going to be very hard for y'all to see on y'all's screens. That's just the way that cameras are. I'm going to come in with this blue. And it ends up being a very dark purple, but it's going to be a purple. And there we've got violet. All right, so I'm going to fill in this violet section right here. And in this section, the secondary section, I'm going to fill in those same colors, green, orange, and violet. They are the combinations of two of the primary colors. So red and yellow make the orange, yellow and blue make the green, and blue and red make the violet. All right, all of the spaces that I have left, yellow green, yellow orange, red violet, and blue green are my tertiary colors. These colors are basically the mixture of one of our secondary colors and one of our primary colors. You can tell because it's literally named after them. The color between yellow and orange is called yellow-orange. One more thing I want you to notice. It's not green yellow or orange yellow. It is yellow orange and yellow green. Remember, yellow is our primary color, meaning that it's going to come first in the naming scheme. It's not orange red, it is red orange. Red is the primary, orange is the secondary. And that's going to be true for all of these. You also can tell them apart from your primaries and secondaries because they are named after other colors. They do not have their own unique names. All right, so all of these are going to work the exact same way. I am going to mix them out of the two same primaries that I used before. Yellow is the yellow primary, orange is yellow and red. So I'm going to use these two colors to make my yellow-orange. But make a quick mental guess. Which one of these two things am I going to use more of? Yellow. We know because it says yellow-orange. So I need this to lean heavily, much more heavily towards yellow than orange. Whenever you are done, the colors should come out between this orange and this yellow as a lighter version of orange. So that's going to be true for all of my tertiary colors. You are going to use the two primaries that are needed. In this case, even less red than before. And use a colorless blender. Do not forget, by the way, on the colorless blenders to clean off the little tips. They get real grody. You can see that this one was used to mix probably purple a minute ago. And so it needs cleaning. The easiest way to clean it is just come to an unoccupied square of space and scribble it off until the end doesn't look like it has junk on it anymore. And then you can come in and blend. So there I go. It is a lighter orange than this orange, and it is a more orange than this yellow. Therefore, I have a successful yellow orange. I'm going to do that on all of these over here. And I don't need to color in any of these squares because it's the color term at the bottom. So I will come back to you once I've got all of these done. All right, so here it is all done. I did end up darkening my green with a little bit more blue at the end because it ended up looking a little bit too close to my yellow-green when I was done with that. Now I'm gonna go ahead and move on to this bottom section right here. So warm colors are yellow and all the colors that kind of involve yellow and red as the primary color here. So that can be from yellow-green to red or yellow to red-violet. It really kind of depends. Sometimes a lot of people will argue about yellow-green and red-violet. Cool colors are the exact opposite. They are the colors in which violet and blue are more dominant. So you've got anywhere from yellow-green to violet or green to red-violet. My preferred distinction is along this line right here. So my warm colors are yellow-green all the way to red, and green all the way to red-violet. But again, yellow-green and red-violet, you can make arguments for either case. So in these boxes right here, I'm gonna put in my warm colors and my cool colors all in a row. So my warm, I'm gonna go from yellow-green to red. Over here in cool, I'm gonna go from green to red-violet. All right, so you can see all my warm colors here, all my cool colors here. Hunky-dory fine. The next section is complementary. You can see what it says is opposites on the color wheel are complementary. When it says opposites, it means that if this were 12 o'clock on a clock, 6 o'clock is on the other side, and that's where violet is. Yellow and violet are complementary. Same thing with yellow, green, and red, violet. They are complements because they are on opposite sides. They're called complementary because they are exact opposites, and exact opposites make each other appear brighter when they're right next to one another. So in these complementary boxes, every single color on the color wheel has its opposite. So if I go yellow-green, it's gonna be red-violet, yellow and violet, yellow-orange, blue-violet, orange and blue, red-orange and blue-green, and red and green. That should take us through all 6 of these pairs. So that's what I'm putting in each of these boxes are opposites. I'm gonna be starting at yellow, green, and red-violet. The same order that I did for my warm. I'm gonna start with yellow-green, then go to yellow, yellow-orange, orange, and all of that, and I'm gonna put their opposites on the other side. All right, so here all mine are. I have a couple of places where I did mess up a little bit. So right here at the bottom of the green, I forgot to clean off my colorless blender, and then I accidentally flipped these 2 around for my order, but since they're all there, it doesn't really matter. All the pairs are present. I've got yellow, green, and red, violet. I have yellow and violet. I have yellow, orange, and blue, violet. Over here's where I messed up and got them out of order. It's blue, green, and red, orange. Over here I've got orange and blue, and over here red and green. What I do want you to notice is that every primary, their opposite, their complementary color is a secondary. So blue has orange, yellow has violet, red has green, while intermediates always have an intermediate as their complementary color. So yellow, green is opposite red, violet. Red, orange is opposite blue, green, so on and so forth. Just a weird trick of math. Analogous colors. There is an endless set of analogous colors that you can have. These sets all happen to have 3, but you can have up to 5 colors all in a row. And analogous colors are the ones that are right next to one another on the color wheel. So red to blue could be considered analogous. So could violet to green be considered analogous. Or blue to yellow, orange could be considered analogous. So this is only asking for sets of 3. So you can fill these in with any 3 colors that are in a row: green, yellow, 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 orange, orange. You could do red, orange, red, red, violet. Any sets of colors that are next to one another work. So that's what you're going to do in this next set right here. And then the last set's going to be rainbow. Rainbow is the 6 colors, primary and secondary, in order. So if you are not sure what that order is, a very nice one to remember is Roy G. Biv, red, orange, yellow, Roy G, and then Buv, with indigo right there in the middle that we don't put on this color wheel. Roy G. Biv. It's a very fast color memorizer. So I'm going to pop mine in, and then we're going to look back at this again. All right, so here it is, my completed little worksheet. note all of the little places where I was cleaning my colored pencils on the side so that they wouldn't have scraps of other colored pencil ends on them. So once you finish this or your worksheet similar to this, make sure your name is on it and then go turn it in.